So this vlog's going to cover something that we've really not had any issue with here before or have really any experience with. Me and Rachel's been extremely lucky. We have not really had any sick beef here on the farm. Really none of the cows we've ever had or steers have really ever been sick or gotten sick or really needed any type of real medical treatment. The worst thing that we've had is one of the steers originally the first year developed some warts. That's really been it. We've been extremely lucky and fortunate because the old saying is if you're going to own livestock, you're going to have dead stock. That's just kind of the way nature works. Right now, what we're dealing with is a subject that some people could consider sensitive or graphic, inhumane, but it's not. It's just daily life here on the farm. You know, it's just something that you have to deal with if you're going to raise a lot of livestock and have a lot of animals. We strive to really take as great a care of them as we can, pay attention to all their needs, but sometimes things just happen and there's really no way to avoid it. So I want to start out by just addressing right off the bat, everything that we're doing for this heifer is under the advice of our veterinarian. We are in constant contact with her. We are sending her pictures, videos. She is asking us questions. She has prescribed a protocol. We have gotten with her and talked, explained everything that this heifer is showing. We've been getting temperature readings, just basically all in all, you know, taking a total observation of her and just basically coming up with a plan to try to make her get better. So the issue that we've encountered, we have a heifer here. She's laying down. What happened was a couple days ago, I was over here in the evening. I kind of noticed this heifer was laying off on her own, away from the rest of the herd. I went over, checked on her. She got up and kind of stretched. You know, I started thinking she looks a little bit bony. That's kind of strange because we were over here all day on Sunday, putting round bales away in the lean-to, and you know, I didn't really notice anything different with them. Rachel was out walking around with them. You know, she looked okay. I thought maybe, you know, her and another heifer that we had that's about the same age as her, I started thinking, man, they're looking pretty leggy. You know, just kind of hitting a growth spurt maybe, just because, you know, it seemed a little bit taller. But looking back now, I'm thinking maybe it was just her gut was shrinking up a little bit. So we came over here Thursday night, and Rachel looked at her with me. She's up moving around. She was over checking out the little bit of supplemental grain that we give them in the evening. I saw her go over here, lick on the salt block, and then go back out to eating some grass. There's plenty of pasture here for them. So we're wondering what was up with her. We had just wormed them. We talked about maybe following around, collecting a fecal sample to see maybe she still had some sort of worms that we needed to deal with that the product that we used didn't cover, or, you know, they came back on her or something. But ultimately we decided, let's just fill up this water tank down here on this feeding floor. We'll put a packet of Vitamix in there, basically make 150 gallons of Gatorade for them. You know, the weather's been pretty hot here recently, and we thought, well, you know, these guys have a little bit more hair on them. They're black hided cattle there, so, you know, they could be getting pretty warm. So we'll do that to see how they're handled. Like I said, that was on Thursday. I come up here Friday morning. She was laying out with the rest of the cows, laying with a couple of them in the morning. Got up, stretched, walked around. You know, still looking a little bit thin, but, you know, she's still active. Come down here Friday evening, check on everybody, feed the rams, and I noticed that she was down right here. It was later in the evening because we had a lot of stuff to do Friday. We had to pick up sheep feed and go pick up a truck and everything. And so I called the vet, got with her, gave her a bunch of medicine, got her propped up here. We got these straw bales, propping her up. She's sitting up. Basically the plan was, because by that time it was almost 10 o'clock at night, decided to just tell the vet, let's see how she is in the morning. She doesn't seem to be in any pain. You know, she's laying here. She's not flopping around. She's letting us work with her. I got a halter on her right now. So we propped her up using these straw bales so that way she wouldn't lay over on her side and possibly die of bloat. And we're going to see how she was in the morning. Well, I came over here Saturday morning. That's today, before the farmer's market. She was still kind of propped up. Started checking her. Gave her some grain. She started wanting to eat. She wanted more water. I was giving her water, and I put a flake of hay down in front of her. She started eating the hay. So the vet texted us, and it was probably about 7:10 in the morning. How's she doing? We explained to her, we sent her pictures. I showed her what was going on, and so that is when the vet, I said it looked like she was trying to get up, because I noticed that like she was trying to rock a little bit and try to get these back feet underneath of her. And the vet decided that we shouldn't try to lift her with a set of hip lifters that would like clamp onto her back here. And you could use like the skid steer to pick her up and get her feet underneath of her, because for some reason she's lost an extreme amount of weight in the last 3 or 4 days and became incredibly weak, and we're not sure why. So what we're doing right now is I went up to the livestock supply store here in town. I picked up a bunch of energy gel tubes. I picked up more electrolytes with a high amount of potassium in them. I gave her that in this big drench gun. I got her to drink that, and basically it's like a lot of Gatorade mix almost. You can think it has vitamins, nutrients in it. And then I gave her that whole tube of energy, basically gel. I'm going to start giving her 2 tubes of that a day. I got a lot more medicine to give her tonight, just to see how she's going. Right now she's sleeping pretty well. She's breathing a lot. Breathing a lot more normal right now. She is eating more grain. I got some high protein calf manna that we're going to give her, just trying to give her energy. And, you know, ideally she's here on this concrete floor. I set this old broken farmer's market tent up to keep the sun off of her, keep her comfortable today. Because that's really what we're trying to do, is just make her comfortable, because she is trying to live, she's trying to survive. She doesn't seem to have any injury to her body, other than she's just severely dehydrated and weak right now. And so I've been using that drench gun to drench her with more just plain water, so then that way she was getting enough. And again, tonight when I come back over about 8:30, 9 o'clock, give her that gel again. I'm going to drench more water in her, probably another gallon or 2 at least. You know, they consume a lot of water, but we're just trying to get her strength back up, so that way when we do pick her up or lift her up, she will be able to, you know, stand on her own. And we'll still have to keep a very specific, specialized treatment on her, just by feeding her, giving her basically whatever supplements she needs. We'll probably keep her locked up here on the feeding floor, just until she can get enough of her strength back that at that time we can determine A, what we need to do with her, and B, what do we need to do to treat her. We ended up taking a fecal sample today over to the vet, just so that way we can kind of see what's going on with that. Her temperature late last night was 102.5. I'm going to check it again this evening and see where it's at. But, you know, really, we're doing all we can. I know a lot of people that I've spoke to just to get some ideas from them today. Their first thing is you need to get her up, but I think I'm kind of in agreement with the vet, because she does look extremely weak, extremely thin, and she seems like she's been dehydrated, and, you know, we're just trying to get her energy back. And that's one thing, you know, me and Rachel's always try to do is, you know, the vet's the expert. We're going to call her, we're going to ask her what we need to do, have her come up with a plan, and basically follow that, because I can talk to whoever, and what might have worked for them might not work for me, but that even goes with the vet. But ultimately, we know we're using our best resources that we have, so that's what we're going to do with this treatment plan. I'm hoping that she pulls through this. Like I said, if she seems like she's in pain or struggling to live, then we'll have to make a different decision. But currently, she seems, her ears are perky now. She's looking around. Seems like she has a little bit more body control. So we're just going to continue with this. She's right here next to the bank barn. So if she was out back in the back of the pasture or something, I might be a little bit more worried about predators like coyotes or something coming up on her, because she's very weak, and really defenseless, just being able to sit there like that. And so, I feel a little bit better with her locked up here on this feeding floor next to the barn. We'll just have to see what happens. I kind of making all this part of the video after I did all the treatments with her, just because I wanted to get the treatments done on her. I wanted to get all that medicine and all that gel and nutrients in her as early as I could, so that way she'd have 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours with it in there working before her next treatment. And then that will be, like I said, tonight about 9 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock, and then we'll be back over here again probably somewhere between 6 and 6:30 to treat her again. And I'm hoping that this is going to give her enough nutrients and energy, and that she'll start eating grain and this calf manna to give her more energy, and then maybe we can get her up. And right now, that's just kind of what we're aiming for. We're hoping it's going to go good for her. I think this tent really helped today because it's pretty warm, kept the sun off of her, kept her in shade all day. And I think that, just like I said, making her as comfortable as possible, and we'll just have to see how it goes from here. So I came over the next morning to check on that heifer's progress. She still was somewhat alert, moving her ears around, one of her eyes. I could see that she had some strength in one of her feet, basically on the left-hand side of her body. She could get that hoof up underneath of her. She was pushing with that. I was under there trying to keep her feet underneath of her, because she was acting kind of like she wanted to get up, kind of doing these little hops almost. But she was really only using that left side of her body with her hoof. Her right hoof on the rear was kicking back behind her, and she would never really pull it back underneath of her. I would have to fold it up basically and put it underneath of her like it was supposed to be, and she'd only be putting any power into her rear left hoof. She kind of seemed a little more lethargic. She was trying to get up a little bit, and then she just kind of stopped, closed her eyes, kind of breathing a little heavy. So me and Rachel went ahead at that point, called the vet, told her to come over, take a look at her, because basically we thought that it was time for her to be put down if there was nothing that the vet could see that could be done. The vet came, checked her out. Her fecal looked okay. No signs of parasites in that. With her head being cocked off to her right side like that, I started thinking maybe she had some kind of listeria or something. The vet said that wasn't there. Just after looking at her, everything seemed to be functioning okay. No real problems, other than the vet believed it's some kind of maybe a tumor or something, just because of the way she was acting. Really just, seemed like she didn't really want to move that one leg, and really had her head tilted off to the side. So at that time, me and Rachel and the vet decided it was best just to go ahead and put her down. So we went ahead and did that and buried her. Really nothing else was going on with her. She was still having bowel movements, urinating. Everything seemed to be going good on that side. All her vitals looked good. She was acting healthy when you would hold her head out straight, but you would let go of that, and she would just kind of, focus on that right side of her body. So, ultimately had to make the hard decision to put her down, but, that was the best decision for her, because it didn't seem like she was ever going to recover from this. Looking back at it right now, the vet made the best call by not trying to get her up. If we tried to get her up with those hip clamps or just get her up on her own, I'm not sure that she could stand, and she'd probably fall. And being up here on this floor and being of her size, that's when you would probably get some kind of broken bones, or she would injure herself further, and that's overall not what we wanted. So, the vet told us we did the best we could. She had been well taken care of up until that point, and, that's what we had to do. So that's just life here on the farm. Livestock, sometimes they get sick, and, it's not as easy as with people, because they can't tell you what's wrong with them. So you had the vet here basically running through all the scenarios, checking things. Well, that'll wrap up this video. We're hoping for the best going forward. Thanks for watching.